for matchup number 2 of the weekend between the Stanford Cardinal and the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos here in Burnham Pavilion. Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan Watkins. As I mentioned, same two teams that went against each other just a night ago, and it was the Cardinal winning it in straight sets, 3-0 over Santa Barbara, coming in ranked number 10 in the country. First for Stanford, they took set number 1, 25-16. It was a lot closer, had a little bit of extra volleyball, if you will, in set number 2 as Stanford took that one 26-24 before finishing things off 25-18. Stanford on the year, coming into this one 3-0. Also won 2 matches against St. Francis the past weekend. Yesterday, Stanford hit 420 as a team, and way better than their average on the year, 362. And defensively, they were superb as well. As the first serve, though, from the Cardinal goes into the net by Nathan Noletsky. It'll be a point for the Gauchos. And coming in to today, the opponents are hitting 232 against the Cardinal, and they held the Gauchos to 125. Here comes the first serve from Jack Walmer. Louis again, a nice dig. And there's Stanford, the good kill near side. Teo Snooey, who's been a phenomenal freshman to start off the season for Stanford. Coming in, freshman, 37 kills, now make that 38. It's about 3 kills per set. You get the serve from Will Rotman. Here come the Gauchos, and they beat the block. That was Ryan Wilcox, a senior from Honolulu, Hawaii. 2-1 Gauchos early on. Last year, Santa Barbara finishing 19-9, including 6-4 in the Big West, was good for 3rd place. Also right where they are projected to finish this year as well. What a dig in the back line. It's going to be a free ball, though, for Stanford. They'll set it up. The block is going to go out of bounds. A point and kill for the Cardinal with Kevin Lamp. Gauchos also finished 6th in the AVCA coaches poll. Projected to finish 4th this year. Hawaii was the defending national champions, receiving all but one first place vote in the Big West preseason standings. As there's Jess Bianchi, for the kill, a redshirt sophomore from Laguna Beach, transferred in from Orange Coast College. In the matchup yesterday, he did not play. As once again, the Cardinal go to Lamp. He tried to cut it across, but it goes into the net. There's an error for Stanford. At a 2-point lead early on for the Gauchos, led by Rick McLaughlin in season number 14 at Santa Barbara. Is the only coach, his brother was the only coach ever to win a national championship, an NCAA championship in men's and women's volleyball, as he did so while at the helm from 1990 to 2017. Actually is going to go into the Southern California Indoor Volleyball Hall of Fame. Was named an inductee earlier in the season. As another point now coming down. There's Bianchi once again. The Gauchos trying to come out with some heat and a hot start early. But again, back to Rick McLaughlin now. He's the younger brother of Jim. As the USMC AVCA Men's Coach of the Year, 2-time Big West Coach of the Year as well, receiving one of those honors a season ago. Into his time, he's coached 12 All-Americans, 44 All-Conference selections. And Ryan Wilcox figures to be another one of those, especially for all conferences. He was on the preseason team. That swing goes a little too far, and a point for the Cardinal. Even up at 5 now. And that attack error goes to the aforementioned Wilcox. Back to serve now, Kevin Lamp. Went off the cord. The Gauchos had to make an adjustment, and they do so to get the point and the kill. That was Dane Chalmers, a redshirt junior from Costa Mesa. Was one of the better hitters for Santa Barbara last night. And hit a .333. Did have 3 attack errors, but it was the highest percentage in terms of hitting percentage for the Gauchos. Next up behind him was Ryan Wilcox at .286. Some miscommunication for Stanford. It's going to be a free ball for Santa Barbara. And good effort from Louie. We've definitely seen him make a couple of plays like that already this year, but couldn't come up with that. For a win off the hands, I believe, of Teo Snowy. And once again, Santa Barbara in front by 2, 7-5 here in set number 1. Service coming in from Chalmers. Rotman did not get the set I believe he was looking for or wanted. Louie tried to read it thinking that might have gone out of bounds, but it did not, so a block and a point for Santa Barbara. That'll be Dane Chalmers. That was Donovan Todorov and Jack Walmer who were there. Another strong serve from the Gauchos. Here comes Rotman. The front line for the Gauchos up to the task the first time. Can they do it again? No, they can't. Will Rotman in the middle. Will Rotman, he was a nominee for the MPSF Moulton Offensive Player of the Week last week in his performance against St. Francis. Another name that Stanford fans might know. Jalen Jasper was also nominated as well, and now down at Pepperdine. Serve goes too far. Point now for Santa Barbara. They have the 9-6 lead. Other individual honors came along the way down the MPSF tunnel for the Cardinal. As they get the point for Nathaniel Gates, but Justin Louie also was honored. He was the Defensive Player of the Week. The 3rd time in his career he's done so. And most importantly, and I think most impressively, 0 reception errors and 44 attempts. From the back line and missing wide is Dane Chalmers. Point for the Cardinal. You see Santa Barbara coming in 1-3. They've lost their last 3 straight. They started off with a win against USC, 3-1. And then a loss in 5 to Lincoln Memorial. A loss in straight sets, and then to UCLA, and then Stanford yesterday. But I tell you what, you have swings like that, things will start to turn around. What a kill by Ryan Wilcox, my goodness. Walmer on the serve. Here comes Rotman. It was deflected up at the line. Point for Stanford. Again, we're talking about Will Rotman, and you have to mention that phenomenal year he had last season. His first team All-American for Stanford. First time the Cardinal have had a member on that team since 2016. And also another good start this year. And there's Bianchi once again cutting it across for the point for the Gauchos. So far in this first set, anytime it seems like Stanford might get something going, Santa Barbara's had that answer. Into the net it goes off the serve from Wilcox. A point for the Cardinal. They're back within one. And we talked about where UCSB is projected to be in the Big West. Stanford is projected third in the MPSF. UCLA is the favorites. They had all but 2 first-place votes. Of course, it was a fun matchup between the Cardinal and the Bruins last year in the MPSF championship that went the distance. Stanford coming up just a bit short. And UCLA favored once again to finish first. Pepperdine comes in second, and then there's Stanford. Both Pepperdine and the Cardinal with a first-place vote apiece. Then Grand Canyon, USC, they're tied right there at 19 votes in general. As there is a kill for the Cardinal. Kevin Lamp's going to get it. And the dig attempt sailed wide for the Gauchos. And now Stanford again within one. And then rounding out that MPSF, BYU and then Concordia. Snooey on the serve. A good serve at that. Good dig from the Gauchos to keep it alive. And then here comes Bianchi to bring it home. Coming into this match, Jess Bianchi had only played 3 sets. That came in just the one match. Had 6 kills in it, but also 7 errors and 20 total attacks. And hitting in the negatives coming in to this match, but so far 4 kills on 5 swings. He will take that one. And the serve again from the Gauchos goes too far. Still a 1-point differential right now. And a good serve from Stanford, and it played on the net just a little bit. And that messed things up for the Cardinal in defense. So the point will go to the Gauchos as they extend the lead now back up to 2. Good crowd here inside Burnham Pavilion, and they're continuing to file in. Everyone being as safe and careful as possible with the rain that we've been having here in the Bay Area the last couple of weeks. Supposed to be raining all weekend. Here's Snooey to Rotman. He was met up front, and the ball's still alive. Gauchos had to regroup. They thought they had a point. Wilcox, what a play in the back line from Kevin Lamp. Longest rally we've had so far. Still going. Good play by the stands from Chalmers. They send it over. Now Stanford. Can they put it down? No, they can't. Look at the hustle from the Gauchos as well, but the swing goes too far. And now we're going to go back and review. Was there potentially a point earlier in that rally for the Gauchos? Again, like I said, it looked like they were ready to celebrate. And now we will have a conversation, a meeting of the minds with the officials. Ray Mink, your referee, along with Michael Yoshikawa. Tyrone Toloy and Elizabeth Wersch are your line judges. Now Ray Mink having a conversation with Wilcox. They try to figure out what the ruling is and why. A lengthy conversation being had, but going off the reaction of Ryan Wilcox is not going in the favor of the Gauchos, and it doesn't. Point goes to Stanford. As Ray Mink points in that direction, 13-14. A lot of action, a lot of extra efforts in that point. Service in from the back line. Dane Chalmers once again with the point and the kill for the Gauchos. And if you're here tuning in from the Stanford side, obviously you know the story of this program the last couple of years. It seemed as if maybe might have been gone. Lost a lot of talented players one year. Then, of course, once the program was not gotten rid of, as Rotman's going to take advantage. And the ball coming over the net early and gets the point for the Cardinal. Stanford had to struggle to get a late last-second schedule together to play a season ago. Sometimes didn't have enough players to really have a full practice due to injuries and also COVID situations as well, as there was the whistle and a violation on the Gauchos. Point for Stanford. We're even at 15. And then that being said, they pulled things together last year, making it to the MPSF championship against UCLA. And now here they are with expectations once again back up to where they usually are for this program under John Costi. And Will Rotman, a big part of the reason why those expectations are so high. Another kill for Will. That is his 4th kill so far of this set. And Stanford on a little roll now. They get the lead, the first one of this set. Letsky on the service. Took a funny swing off Wilcox. Free ball now coming for Stanford. And again, miscommunication. They give it right back to the Gauchos. Rotman again. What a swing. Real Rotman cutting it across. When in doubt, get it to the All-American. Not a bad game plan. And with that, Rick McLaughlin's going to call a timeout, trying to slow down the Stanford attack. 4-0 run now for the Cardinal. They lead here 17-15 in set number 1. (17-15) lead for the Cardinal in set number 1. Stanford right now hitting .381. Santa Barbara not too far behind at a .350. And they came in hitting .244 into the match. And right now the biggest difference. 4 attack errors for the Gauchos, 2 for Stanford. Then when you include the service errors, Stanford just had 1. 3 apiece now for both teams. 7 errors in total for Santa Barbara and 5 for Stanford. Service coming in from Walmer. Snooey put into the back line. Big swing, cutting it across. Bianchi once again. So for someone that came in having 6 kills in total on the season, he is now up to 5 in set number 1. Another serve coming up for Walmer. And a little too far. Point goes to the Cardinal, and they will retake the lead. Scoring-wise, this is more so of what we saw in set 2 yesterday. Again, that was won by Stanford 26-24. Serve from Rotman, a good one. And another kill coming for Ryan Wilcox. That'll be his 4th in 8 swings. Also has 2 errors in there as well, so his percentage coming out to .250. On the season, Wilcox coming in was hitting right around .233. Lamp tried to go back line, not there. Another big swing, and it pays off for Bianchi. So he is having himself one heck of a start to this match this afternoon. Already doubling now his season total in kills. And that's going to call for a timeout from John Costi. You don't see him animated very often. Looked like he was trying to call for that timeout a couple of times and finally got the acknowledgments from the officials. So one timeout called now from both teams in set number 1. 19-18 your score here at Santa Barbara in front. After the timeout called by John Costi in his 17th year as the head coach of the Stanford program. 19-18 in favor of Santa Barbara. Good reaction off the block by Lamp. Rotman from the back line is set up by Wilcox. They'll go right back to him, floats it in. Phenomenal touch from the preseason Big West team member. So for Wilcox, that's kill number 5. He and Bianchi leading the way for the Gauchos. And coming over on that first hit is Jess Bianchi. He's had a couple of kills now. That's 7 for him. That's the easiest one he'll have probably all afternoon. And just like that, another timeout going to be called by John Costi. When we saw a 4-0 run for Stanford earlier on in this set, and now it's the Gauchos that have a 4-0 run themselves. We'll take a timeout here. Back in a minute. 21-18 Gauchos. Well, for Stanford, they've been in this position before. Actually, last weekend against St. Francis, they found themselves in a hole right around this 20 to 21 point mark for the Red Flash last weekend. And Stanford was able to put together a run to make some things happen. See if they can do it here in set number 1. Again, Santa Barbara on a 4-point run at the moment. And it's an ace. What a serve for Ryan Wilcox right in the corner. And with that, I actually got to give some credit to Elizabeth Wersch over there as well. The concentration to get the call right as the ball was approaching her face. I think she actually took one off the forehead, but was able to get the call. And what a big swing. My goodness, Kevin Lamp. That's one way to stop a 5-0 run. A little extra mustard on that swing. So in Burnham Pavilion, I know usually when the men's team, they play in Maples, we're on the floor talking about the broadcasters, but they're up elevated a little bit, and you could feel the thump off that swing up here from Lamp. As Bianchi once again doing what he's been doing best. Here in set number 1, another kill for him brings him to 8. Hitting a very impressive 636 with just the one error in 11 attacks. Now coming in to serve, Sam Collins, redshirt sophomore from Manhattan Beach. Once again, ball coming over. Good serve from Collins. Louis on the dig. Stanford couldn't keep it alive. Good hustle by Rotman. But now here comes set points for the Gauchos, looking for their first set win since January 6th. That was against Lincoln Memorial when they lost 3-2. And lost 3-0 to UCLA on the 7th, and then, of course, 3-0 yesterday against Stanford. What a dig. Wilcox in a little too excited and sends that one a little too far. Did an impressive job to keep that one alive. I think he wanted to cap off that great dig effort. So now Teo Snooey will be at service. Stanford needs him to roll off at least 4. Good concentration for the Cardinal to keep it alive. Here's Wilcox. Now they're going to set Bianchi and cuts it in. Beautiful swing once again by the redshirt sophomore. And that's how we close out set number 1. Impressive response from losing 3-0 for Santa Barbara as they'll take it 25-20.